Hello and welcome to Sarcastic Videos. Today we're going to be talking about the Netflix original comedy special, Hasan Minhaj, Homecoming King. For those who don't know, Hasan Minhaj is a regular on The Daily Show, or was. And he has a Pizza Hut commercial, which I didn't know, but they show you it during this special. It's actually pretty funny the way they show it. So this show is taped in his hometown, which is Davis, California. That's where he was born, in America. He's Indian. His parents are Indian. They have the traditional Indian values and things like that, and he really that's a big part of his stand-up, which are pretty funny. He talks about, in the beginning he's talking about like being married, the typical humor from any comedian really. Being married, how he loves it because he doesn't care about his single friends anymore because of how ridiculous they are, swiping for love and being picky about little tiny details whenever they're looking through online profiles and things like that. But most of the show is about his family and Indian values and things like that. So there's some pretty good comedy there. He talks about like his dad and mom and how they met in India, but they didn't really meet in person. Marrying without meeting, moving to U.S. and things like that. What it was like for him growing up in a hometown that was mostly white, and it was mostly just his dad because his mom was back in India having to finish school before she could come over. So the stuff with his dad was funny about dealing with those values, and his dad always pushing him to be stronger and smarter and go to the good schools and things like that, not really wanting him to be a comedian, which seems like a lot of comedians have that same background where they kind of defied their parents to become comedians, which nobody really, it seems like a lot of parents don't really want that for their kids. And he talks about the generational gap and things like having to learn having to use landlines and things like that. He talks about how when his mom finally did make it into America, she had a little girl with her, which was his sister, which he never even knew about. And he kind of jokes about that and how secretive Indian parents are, and that was one of the biggest secrets they had. But he does have he has, it's kind of a roller coaster actually watching this show, because he has all these funny jokes, but then he talks about serious moments. Like he talks about his girlfriend and how he's Muslim but she's Hindi, and how difficult that was, but how they got through it and ended up getting married. He has a funny thing about the differences between Hindus and Muslims, but then, he goes on, he gets serious later on when it comes to the point where they were actually going to get married and having to deal with his dad. He also has some other jokes about when he was in high school and dealing with and having like a first girlfriend who was white, and, having to hide that from his dad. And how eventually there was some bigotry there between the girl's parents, which actually was a pretty down moment in the show, but then it really turns around. Like, he does a good job of storytelling, basically, where he turns that around into some funny moments at the end. And it does make for a pretty good comedy. It's interesting. He uses the screen in the back, like behind him, a lot to show off, his commercial, the Pizza Hut commercial, which was his first little moment in fame, which led to Daily Show edition, which he talked about that, which was pretty funny. And then, but he also uses it to show Facebook messages and tweets and things that he'd exchanged with this girl that her was his first real kind of girlfriend that he hid from his parents, and how they talk about things now as adults and dealing with that. It does get serious in some moments, but it's really funny. He does do a really great job of storytelling, and he's a little hyper, I would say. Like, there's some moments where he talks pretty fast, and I'm like, well, what did he say? Like, he is a fast talker, that's for sure. But that's only in certain moments, and then mostly to get laughs. But it's a good show. I definitely like it. Recommend it. It's gonna get a thumbs up on Netflix for sure. And as far as a rating, I would give it a definite 7 out of 10. It's not for everybody. The roller coaster part of it, where he does have these serious moments, can take you out of it. It depends on whether or not you like the storytelling of it, where he brings you down a little bit with serious moments, but then he brings you right back up with some pretty funny jokes. So it depends on whether or not you like that kind of humor, and it's not just joke after joke after joke. So that is Hasan Minhaj, Homecoming King. It's the Netflix original comedy special. If you like this video, like, share, subscribe, or all of the above. Thank you, and have a nice day.